Boneworks is a fully physics-based virtual reality game that was released for PC VR on the 10th of December 2019. Boneworks is now 5 years old, and I'm gonna talk about what made Boneworks so amazing. The physics of Boneworks are the best I've ever seen in a video game, except for Bone Lab of course. Almost everything is interactive in some way and also have a proper weight. Like if I grab this ball for example, it's very light. If I grab this cup, it's also very light. You can feel a bit of weight but not as much. If I grab this though, you can really see and feel the weight to it. And if I were to grab something like this, with one hand in the end, you can't hold it straight because it's too heavy for you. And something like this is almost impossible to control with one hand. The story levels of Boneworks were very open and you could usually take different ways to get through the game. This, combined with a very cool story which I'm about to explain, made the story mode of Boneworks amazing. You start off by watching a cutscene of yourself, Arthur Ford, sticking a USB stick with a Gammon logo on it into a bunch of cables. Gammon and Monogon, the company you're actually working for, are rival companies. You then see yourself putting on a headset. You start playing the game and continue to a small level called Break Room. You then get to the Museum of Technical Demonstration. This level is the tutorial of Boneworks, and you get to play around with the physics, weapons, and just learn how the game works. You then get to Streets, where you solve a few puzzles and also encounter your first enemies, the Nullbodies. When you finish Streets, you get to Runoff, where you encounter Omniprojectors and zombies. You solve some puzzles and get to the Sewers. Sewers is a really dark level, and it's also the level where you encounter the corrupted Nullbody. After Sewers, you get to Warehouse, where you find your way to a warehouse and then hop on a train. When you arrive with the train, you're at Central Station. You solve a quick puzzle and walk up some stairs. You see the Time Tower, which is where you're heading. You do some puzzles and get to the tower. In the level tower, you're in a big open area with a bunch of enemies. You need to find different keys to then get to Time Tower. In Time Tower, your goal is to fix the clock. This is what your friends have been sending you video messages about through the game. When you fix the Time Tower, you wake up in the dungeon level. In the dungeon level, you find a bunch of clones of yourself. When you have found your way through the dungeon, you get to the arena. Here you see another clone of yourself, but as a king. You prove your strength by fighting a bunch of enemies in an arena while the king is watching. When you have killed all the enemies, you get to the throne room, the last level in the game. You start off by solving a puzzle to get into the castle where the king is at. When you get in, you fight the king and put on the crown. You continue through the castle and get to the final boss of the game, a ladder. Yup, a huge ladder that goes all the way up to another cutscene. In this cutscene, you see yourself in the real world, and Monogon employees breaching their way into your room. When they get in, you see a man in a suit and blurred face go up to you. He then loads a gun, points it to your head, and kills you. You get back to the main menu of Boneworks, and that's the story. The soundtrack of Boneworks is amazing. I would say it's probably one of the best game soundtracks out there. For example, when you go up the stairs in Central Station, you see the Time Tower and this song plays. Some other great songs from Boneworks are Boneworks has a sandbox mode with 6 different maps. The museum basement, redacted chamber, handgun range, blank box, Tuscany, and a Hoover Junkers map. These are really fun to play in because you can do whatever you want. Boneworks also has a ton of mods, from guns, NPCs and items, to Spider-Man mods and huge levels. This makes the sandbox mode of Boneworks super fun. Boneworks also has an arena mode with a fantasy arena from the story mode, and also the zombie warehouse where we fight hordes of zombies. The arena mode is very fun because you can choose different challenges and difficulties. Boneworks is one of my favorite games of all time, and if you haven't already, I still recommend buying it. Well, that's the video. I put a lot of effort into this video, writing the script, getting the footage and editing, so if you liked the video, I would really appreciate it if you told me that in the comments. And also, subscribe if you want to, it means a lot. With that said, thank you for watching.